Hi.
Hola.
Hi, hier ist Mr. Döse.
This is Michael Bradley.
Hey, I'm Memphis.
Hey.
Hola. Hello.
I'm here with soccer.com.
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 And I'm talking with my friends soccer.com.
See you soon.
Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new made in Italy Puma King top. Now this is a kind of limited edition variation of the old school Puma King that is actually made in Italy. And aside from where it's made, the actual quality of materials they've used here is well above average what you would get from a normal Puma King top DI, which retails for about $120. These are significantly more with a retail price of $275. They're available in two colorways, this being the brown variation, of course. And like I said, very expensive. It's kind of like comparing Mizuno with their Indonesian-made Morelia and the made-in-Japan version of the Morelia, where there is a big price discrepancy. Although I will say the quality gap between this shoe and the regular Puma King is tremendous. These are some of the nicest quality leather soccer shoes currently available. They smell amazing, they feel amazing. And again, if you're looking for an old school shoe with super high quality leather, that's kind of who this is appealing to. So again, not for everybody, especially given the higher price tag, but if you just want that old school Puma King in the best quality possible, this is kind of what you're looking for. So of course, in today's video, we're going to take a detailed look at the shoe itself, go over all the tech specs and performance features of what is a pretty well-known shoe at this point in time. We'll take a look at the weight of the shoe, as well as take a look at how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you are interested in learning more, please stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, there'll be a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $275 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, a little pop-up on screen, first link down below. Go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorway and the general styling of this shoe. Believe it or not, at one point in time, this was kind of the norm in terms of what you thought of when you thought soccer shoe. It's a leather upper with a big fold-over flap tongue, and that's about it. Kind of very similar to the Copa Mundial in terms of the styling of this shoe, but that is what this is. This is Puma's Copa, if you will, the Puma King. I know it's not something that's been kind of the main focus of the Puma brand as of late with their latest and greatest shoes, but the Puma King is still around, and it's still a big deal to a lot of people. A lot of people grew up wearing this kind of older style Puma King. So this made in Italy version, I think, is particularly special, mainly because of the quality. The quality of the leather and just the general look of it, I think, is just incredible. You see this shoe and you can tell it looks high quality. It's very, very premium. It has this kind of nice saddle brown color to it. They maintained more of a natural finish to the surface as well. So as you wear these in, they're gonna get a little bit darker, and it does have the potential to scratch as well. Not quite as easily as what we've seen from Nike's TechCraft models, for example, but if you do take a pretty good shot to the foot or something like that, it is gonna scrape and it's gonna show that little kind of a wear mark, if you will, which I think is kind of cool. So you have that brown color throughout the entire upper, and then kind of like a brighter orange as an accent. You have that outlining the form stripe, as well as kind of the studs themselves, which I guess is kind of a more modern element to this particular shoe. You wouldn't normally have these brighter colors way back in the day, but since it's 2016, they incorporate that because a lot of people like that kind of thing. The form stripe itself, as you can see, has this kind of almost crisscross pattern to the leather itself. It isn't actually like that. It's just kind of embossed leather. So it isn't actually crisscross strips, which would be really, really cool, but they didn't incorporate that, I think, for fairly obvious reasons. You have that on both sides. It looks very, very good. They went with kind of the old school, super wide, kind of almost rough laces. As you can see, you have the big fold over flap tongue and more of like a natural tan leather kind of finish to it. The embossed Puma King logo there on the top, and then pull the flap up, and on the underside you can see it says engineered in Italy, because again, this is a made in Italy variation of the shoe. Going down the back, you can see it says Naturale, again in that same kind of natural leather finish to it. You have a nice natural leather heel liner, which is kind of unusual. These are going to absorb a lot of water, definitely worth mentioning if you are planning on picking these up. But again, I think if you were buying these or interested in buying these at all, you're probably not too concerned about the weight. It's just kind of comes with the territory with this kind of shoe. Same thing goes for a pair of Copas. The insole, which is non-removable, you could remove it, but it's technically glued in, is that tan color with the Puma King branding there and the Italian flag kind of stripe running through. And then moving on to the bottom, it's a brown sole plate, the Puma form stripe logo in the middle, and then of course, again, the orange conical stud pattern there. Very, very cool looking shoe, very good looking shoe in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? Is this something that you would wear? Let me know. And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. When it comes to tech specs and performance, there isn't a lot of modern innovation in a shoe like this. This is, like I said, kind of like a Copa Mundial. It's an old school design that's kind of stood the test of time that a lot of people still enjoy wearing. And from a comfort standpoint, there's going to be very few people that'll put this on and say that it's uncomfortable. And if they are saying that, they're probably lying. Now, yes, it's entirely possible that you don't necessarily like this style of shoe in comparison to something like a Mercurial, for example, which is kind of very modern, very sleek, very low profile. This is essentially the opposite of that. This is a little bit more bulky, very soft, more padded leather, and just kind of bulkier in general. It's not the style of soccer shoe that most people are after nowadays, but it's still cool that they exist, and it still is a very wearable shoe from a performance standpoint. Yes, it's old technology, but like I said in the past many times before, no pair of shoes is gonna make you a better soccer player. It's really just a matter of personal preference, and if something like this is your preference, by all means you should wear it. So the upper is a calfskin leather material, and that might sound crazy to some people, especially given how quality the material is itself, how good it looks, how good it feels. It's so soft. It's really some of the nicest leather you'll find on any soccer shoe right now, because normally with that kind of shoe, you'd expect it to be kangaroo leather, kind of like the Copa Mundial. Calfskin though, if the shoe is being made in Italy, and if they were making shoes in Italy, generally you would have to use the materials that were available to you way back in the day. And last time I checked, there aren't any kangaroos jumping around in Italy, but I'm sure they have lots of cows. So they would use a calfskin leather, which given the proper quality, given the proper treatment process, it can be super premium, on par with any kangaroo leather. And that is the case here with this made in Italy edition of the Puma King. It's super soft. It has a really good thickness to it. I would say it's on the thicker side as far as leather is concerned. And more importantly, you have it across the entire upper. There's no synthetic on this shoe whatsoever, which I think is really nice to see. And if you're just looking for that super soft, padded, traditional leather feel, you definitely get it across the entire foot, which, like I said, is kind of what you want from this style of shoe. The fold over flap tongue, it's a little bit of an unnecessary bulky element. It's there kind of to cover up the laces. No real performance advantage to it there, but it is something that, like I said, was kind of the current thing to do on a lot of shoes. This at one point was considered innovation, believe it or not. So they did maintain it here on the Puma King, and I think it suits the design of the shoe in general. And even the flap is a super nice quality leather. You can see the thickness there by the side profile. Really nice. Central lacing system, of course. Moving on to the back, standard low cut, internal plastic heel counter. You have a nice super thin leather liner material with a decent amount of padding back there. Again, comfort is not going to be an issue. We took a look at the insole already. It's just a mesh liner on top, fully glued in. Nothing too fancy, but it does get the job done. And then moving on to the sole plate, it's a standard TPU plastic material, has some decent thickness to it. And then of course, you get the rivets at the toe, 3 of them. 1 rivet at the heel, just to bond the sole plate in the upper. So I would expect these to hold up pretty well. Of course, with a soft leather shoe like this, there is more of a maintenance to it than a synthetic shoe, which basically you don't have to do anything to other than just clean them once in a while. This is going to require more regular cleaning and some treatment with some kind of leather care product just to maintain the softness of the leather, at least once or twice a month, I would say. So that's something worth keeping in mind if you are planning on picking up something like this. As far as the stud pattern is concerned, it's almost identical to what you'll find on a pair of Copas. All conical studs, nothing too crazy, not the most aggressive stud pattern in the world, but it does get the job done. And again, it's kind of what you'll find on more old school traditional shoes. The layout was something that I didn't start playing around with up until basically the last 15-20 years or so. So that's pretty much it in terms of what you're getting here with the made in Italy variation of the Puma King. It's essentially a more premium variation of the standard Puma King that is currently available. that's arguably a better value because it will kind of get the same job done. But again, if you just want the best of the best in terms of quality in this particular form factor, this made in Italy variation of the Puma King I think is just super, super impressive. In terms of weight, the Made in Italy Puma King isn't overly light as you would probably expect, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to weigh them for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind that this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. We're going to throw them on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 10.15 ounces, the equivalent of 288 grams. So essentially right at the 10 ounce mark, which isn't overly heavy. It's not as light as what you're going to find from many top-end models currently available. But again, if you're interested in this style of shoe, you're probably not too concerned about having the lightest possible shoes on your feet. For comparison's sake, that's on par with something like a Copa Mundial in the same size. So again, you kind of know what you're getting into with a shoe of this type. And again, I just don't think that if you're interested in something like this, weight is going to be that big of a deciding factor. All right, so here is a look at the Puma Kings on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock brown laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot, I have a pair of wide orange punch reflective SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen as well as a link down below in the description of this video. So if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they are extremely comfortable out of the box. The leather is so soft on your foot. They just wrap your foot very nicely. It's not a super tight fitting shoe, but that's kind of to be expected with this style of shoe in general. But again, super, super comfortable. Reminds me a lot of something like a Copa Mundial, but with a little bit more of a predetermined shape out of the box. The Copas, you kind of buy them to fit really tight, then they allow them to stretch to the shape of your foot. This has more of an actual shape to it out of the box, so a little bit less break-in time required, I would say. But again, with any soft leather shoe, give them some time to break in. They'll get even softer, they'll form to the shape of your foot, and they'll just feel like they were made for you. That's kind of something that I guess you lose out on a little bit with synthetic shoes, but with a soft leather shoe like this, that's something that you really do notice. The more you wear them, the softer and more comfortable that they'll get, basically up until the point where they break. So with this shoe, width-wise, they're gonna be suitable for just about anybody. They'll stretch a good amount as well, given that they need to stretch a lot. It really does depend on how you get them. You still want them to fit snug out of the box. You don't want to buy these with too much extra growing room or something like that, just because you will run the risk of potentially overstretching them. But as long as you get the right size, you shouldn't have too many issues with that. And like I said, they'll fit just about anybody. And as far as sizing is concerned, they run true to size. So I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the Made in Italy Puma Kings. If you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can either click the little eye in the corner of the screen or the first link down below in the description of this video. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes. You'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $275 retail price. If you have any questions about this shoe, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.